I remember the time I didn't think about how many black players in the league until I heard that. And so, they're finding other options that are more lucrative. They give them more freedom and more flexibility of choice. And I think when you try to take away the choice of these young people who don't have many choices before they take that choice, like it's ramen noodles or bust, right? In a lot of cases. And a lot of cases we never hear about. I was very fortunate in that I wanted to get my degree. I was cool with school, but I also wanted to play professional basketball. I also started my own company in my dorm room, which was an NCAA violation. I got kicked off of campus. I had a friend pay my first last in security on my first apartment before I got my NCAA check, my stipend from them for moving off campus, because I wanted to run my company. I ate popcorn every day, 4 or 5 times a day. And yeah, I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I had a little package of the instant popcorn or whatever it is.
That was your meals.
It was, and it was inside my cupboard, and I kept it there because if I rested, I rusted. So I had to work every single day to make sure that I was earning something. And this is me on scholarship.
Yeah,
in my last year.
You know what the football players say to me, and Dave, I know you've talked to a lot of them, but when I talk, and I'm saying big schools too, so the Ohio States of the world. And I said, when you look back at your collegiate career, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Now, I think that they're going to talk about a bowl game. Look, a lot of guys are. You always remember your greatest play, an interception, whatever it happens to be. A lot of the football players, when I say, what is that memory? They'll go, starving.
Really?
Hungry. We were hungry all the time. So when Giuseppe is going to give us a free piece of pizza because we just we're Ohio State, we beat Michigan.
That doesn't happen. Go Blue.
Blue
know
it. That you just can't do it. So you could lose a scholarship. And I said, I look at some of these things now and think back when you see what a young athlete eats. At the very least, because people say, yeah, but they're privileged because they're being given a scholarship. I go, no, you earn a scholarship.
Yeah.
They don't hand these things out. It's hard to get these things.
When people say it's a free education, a scholarship means you go to school for free. Doesn't mean you're going to get educated. A lot of guys don't even go to class. They just use the thing. And this is not to denigrate those who do. But as you said, the scholarship is earned. There's nothing free about that. So in exchange for that which you've earned, you get room, board, books. You get to play a sport you love, and you get certain privileges that other students on the campus don't get. However, we have the same course load as they do. We have to study as much as they do, on top of having a full-time job as a student athlete.
Now, did your coach? Because not every coach is built the same way. People talk about Bob Knight, but Bob Knight was ferocious about his student athletes. They had to go to class. They had to achieve a certain, grade point average. They had to.
No,
it was Rice the same way?
I went to Rice. I mean, it's one of the top universities in the country. And, when you have the honor code, like I could take a test we didn't have proctors. When they give you the test, you can go back to your room if you want to read from a book, but you don't want to be seen as a dummy. So you have to sign the honor code. I've neither given nor received any aid on this examination. And that was a very prideful thing for a lot of the students there, whether you played a sport or not. So it meant something to me to keep my grades up. I was on the dean's list a couple of times. But, that was important to me before I even got there. Before I played basketball, I got academic scholarships before I got athletic ones. So, I think there's a sense of pride in that, and I think that my coach, and of course Rice had a certain standard that you had to keep to even get in there. You couldn't get a 700 in the SAT back then and get into Rice. You just couldn't.
Isn't it like an aeronautical engineer, sort of on that side of it? Doesn't Rice have a lot of that, like sort of the science side?
Because it's a liberal arts school, but there's a lot of stuff that they do with NASA.
Right.
And I remember my first day on campus, someone walked up to me and go, "Oh, you're one of the new basketball players, right?" And I go, "No, I'm a student athlete. I go to class before I go to practice." So when you define yourself, you don't allow someone else to define you. Yeah. It becomes a thing where no one ever called me the basketball player again. And I think that's important you look at these young people. I don't know if they know how to define themselves as yet, but they're going to have multiple opportunities with all these other leagues that they can play in. And I think that while it's fun, I love March Madness. I do. Even though it drives me crazy because I know everything's exploited and for $1, and these guys get nothing. And I was part of that process. So, am I a hypocrite? Absolutely.
But to
'Cause
this
I watch
day,
it
I
every
don't.
year.
But to this day, if we're talking right now in 2017, as far as I know, right now in these schools, the way it's set up within, it's not better. It hasn't improved.
No.
It's not better.
No. I mean, well, it's better for the guys who are making money.
Yeah.
You know, the science wing goes up not because of science.
No.
It goes up because these guys play well in the NCAAs. Even the NIT, you can make money.
The football programs, which generally dwarf what basketball. I mean, you just look at the stadiums alone. You're talking 89,000 people. So if and here's always their argument. Well, if you're a science nerd and you're enjoying the Bunsen burner or you're playing the sousaphone in the band, you thank the football team, and that's what they generate. That's the argument all the time. I go, but that still doesn't make it right.
Yeah, but I would want to be one of the top sousaphone players in the history of sousaphone playing because that's fantastic. I like that. I'm good with that.
Well, we got to have you in again because there's so
We'll work
much
it out.
that we can talk about.
Absolutely.
It's just been a thrill, and only the second guest that we
Correct,
have had
yes.
sitting in that chair.
Oh, I am
Yeah.
privileged and honored.
Yes.
And next time I want to come back, I want to talk some hockey.
Oh,
Okay, then bring it on.
No, we've had. See, here's the thing, and
Now people are going to say Richards is racist. How come the black guy comes on and we only talk about basketball?